A Sherman tank holds 5 men. 1 in 3 won't make out alive. You are breathing diesel fumes, slipping on spent shell casings, and praying the armor holds. This is a tank horror movie. Over the next 12 minutes, you'll live every rank inside a World War II tank crew. From the terrified bow gunner at the bottom to the commander making the life or death calls at the top. Every rank costs something. This is what it actually took. Level 1. The bow gunner. You're 18. You didn't stumble into this. You volunteered because you thought thick steel meant invincibility. You were wrong. You are crammed into the front right corner of the M4 Sherman. Your knees are pressed against the cold steel of the transmission housing. The air down here is foul. It smells of burnt diesel, raw sweat, and peeling green paint. The floor is vibrating. The 400 horsepower radial engine behind you rattles your teeth with every rotation. You are essentially sitting in the vehicle's basement. To your left sits Corporal Miller. He's 20, but his eyes look 40, and he never stops chewing on a crushed Lucky Strike. Your job is to operate the .30 caliber machine gun mounted in the ball joint right in front of your face. It is the 12th of July. The hedgerows of Normandy tower above the tank like green prison walls. Suddenly, the tracks grind to a violent halt. The turret above you rotates with a deafening metallic screech. Dust rains down on your neck. Miller screams at you to fire. You can't see anything through your tiny periscope slit except mud and leaves, but you press the trigger anyway. The machine gun erupts. The noise inside the hull is blinding. Hot brass casings eject, bouncing off your shins and piling up at your boots. You fire a 250-round belt blindly into the bushes. Your ears are ringing so hard you can't hear the radio. You realize your bullets are nothing compared to the heavy artillery echoing in the distance. You survive the hedgerows long enough to earn a promotion. Not because you're brave, because Miller catches a piece of shrapnel through his viewport. Level 2. The driver. You're 19. You didn't ask for this seat. You inherited it because they dragged Miller out by his collar. You sit on the left side of the transmission. You control 30 tons of American steel. Your hands grip the 2 heavy steering levers. Pull the right to go right. Pull the left to go left. It requires raw, brutal upper body strength. After 3 hours of driving, your forearms are cramping so badly your fingers curl into claws. The heat is suffocating. It is over 100 degrees inside the hull. You are staring through a narrow glass block that gives you a field of vision barely wider than a mailbox slot. Directly above you, standing in the turret, is Sergeant O'Connor. He kicks your left shoulder to turn left. He kicks your right shoulder to turn right. He kicks the center of your back to hit the brakes. You're a biological extension of the machine. It is the 4th of August. You're pushing through a French village reduced to rubble. A Panzerfaust rocket streaks out from a second-story window. It misses your front armor by 3 inches, exploding against a brick wall. The shockwave rattles the tank, throwing your head against the steel hatch. O'Connor kicks you hard in the back. Twice. Then he screams down the intercom for you to push forward right into the building. You throw the synchromesh transmission into first gear. You slam your foot on the accelerator. You plow 30 tons of steel directly into the brick wall. The building collapses over the front of the tank. You crush the anti-tank crew beneath the tracks. You hear the sickening crunch of timber over the roar of the engine. You stop seeing men outside. You only see obstacles to crush. But to stay alive, you need to climb higher into the belly of the beast. Level 3. The loader. You're 21. You are now standing in the turret basket directly behind the main 75mm gun. You have the most physically exhausting job in the platoon. You are surrounded by racks of ammunition containing 97 rounds of high explosive and armor-piercing shells. Each one weighs 14 pounds. The floor beneath you spins when the turret rotates. If you don't pick up your feet, the motorized turret ring will shear your toes right off. The smell of cordite is permanently etched into the back of your throat. Your knuckles are scraped raw and bleeding from slamming rounds into the steel breech. To your right is Gunner Davis. He never takes his eye off the sight. He just holds out his empty hand, waiting for the next shell. It is the 19th of September. The tank is rolling through the muddy fields of Holland. Suddenly, An ear-shattering crack splits the air. The tank violently shudders. An 88mm German shell just glanced off the side armor. The internal lights instantly shatter. You are plunged into total darkness. The exhaust fan dies. The cabin immediately fills with choking, blinding white smoke from the main gun. It's a claustrophobic nightmare. Davis is screaming for armor-piercing rounds. He needs them now. You can't see your own hands. You reach into the ready rack, your fingers feeling for the painted tip of the shell to ensure it's the right type. You heave the 14-pound brass casing in the pitch black, slamming it into the breech. You punch the closing lever, narrowly pulling your fist back before the massive steel block slams shut and crushes your hand. You yell, "Up!" and cover your ears. The gun fires, the massive recoil bringing the hot steel inches from your chest. You're no longer a human being. Emotion is completely replaced by muscle memory. Your speed is the only thing keeping the crew alive. But eventually, you graduate to pulling the trigger. Level 4. The gunner. You're 23. You sit on the right side of the main gun. You control the teeth of a Sherman. Your right eye is permanently pressed against the M71 telescopic sight. Your right hand rests on the turret. Traverse wheel. Your foot hovers over the firing pedal. The air up here is thick with the smell of burning electrical wires and hydraulic fluid. Your world is reduced to a circle of crosshairs. You don't see the big picture. You see armor plating, weak spots, and the tracks of enemy machines. Your new loader is a kid named Thomas. He is 18, and he is shaking uncontrollably. He drops a shell on his own foot, cursing in the dark. It is the 18th of December. The Ardennes forest. The snow is deep, and the steel inside the tank is freezing enough to stick to your bare skin. Through the optics, you spot the silhouette of a German Tiger tank emerging from the tree line. It is 800 yards out. The Tiger is a 60-ton monster. Its frontal armor is impenetrable to your 75mm gun. Your commander screams to fire. You depress the pedal. The gun roars. The recoil shakes the entire chassis. Through the scope, you watch your armor-piercing shell strike the Tiger's thick front plate. It sparks, shatters, and harmlessly bounces off into the snow. You're completely outgunned. The Tiger begins turning its massive barrel slowly toward you. You don't panic. You spin the elevation crank. You aim lower. You aim for the dirt in front of its right track. You scream at Thomas to load high explosive. You fire again. The shell hits the frozen ground right beneath the Tiger's treads. The blast severs the metal track. The Tiger is immobilized. You accept that your weapon is inadequate. You realize that you don't win by being superior. You win by being ruthless. You pull the trigger 3 more times, blinding their optics with smoke and fire until they abandon the vehicle. You have mastered the gun, but there is one seat left. The seat that carries the weight of it all. Level 5. The tank commander. You're 25. You sit in the highest seat in the turret. Your head and shoulders stick out of the top hatch. You are the only man with a 360-degree view of the battlefield. You feel the freezing rain on your face. You hear the crack of sniper bullets passing inches from your helmet. You smell the burning rubber of destroyed vehicles. In your hands, you hold a radio microphone. Around your neck are your binoculars. You are the brain of the tank. The other 4 men are just the body. They rely entirely on your eyes to stay alive. It is late February. You're pushing into Germany. You're looking through your binoculars at a fortified crossroads. 3 other Shermans in your platoon are burning in the field ahead. The black smoke is thick and oily. You can hear the screams of their crews over the crackle of your headset. There is a hidden anti-tank gun in the tree line covering the road. Your driver is paralyzed. Your gunner is waiting for a target. You have to make a choice. If you reverse, the infantry behind you will be slaughtered. If you go forward, you might share the fate of the burning tanks. You press the intercom button. You order your driver to flank left. To do that, he has to drive over the frozen bodies of dead American infantrymen scattered in the snow. You feel the tank lurch as the tracks crush over them. You swallow the bile in your throat. You direct your gunner onto the tree line. You don't wait for a visual. You order him to level the entire forest. You're responsible for 4 lives inside this metal shell. To save them, you must sacrifice your soul. Somewhere across the encampment, a terrified 18-year-old is climbing into a hole for the first time. He thinks he'll win glory. He thinks he's going to drive all the way to Berlin. He doesn't know what it costs, but he will. If you made it this far, comment survive. The next video covers your life inside a WW2 submarine crew.